The loudest sound on the patio wasn't the espresso grinder or the traffic on Mill Street. It was my blind date chewing ice with her mouth open like she was trying to win a contest. We were outside the hearth and mill, under amber string lights that didn't need to be on yet. Late afternoon sun spilled across 3 round wooden tables in a row. Small glass vases with pink flowers sat at the center of each one, trying hard to make everything feel romantic. My date, Tiffany, according to the reservation text my sister had sent, leaned forward and laughed at something on her phone. "So, I told Gary," she said, tapping her nails on the screen, "that we're soulmates, but not romantically, karmically. Do you believe in karma, Daxton?" I looked at the table edge instead of her face. The rim had been sanded too aggressively. The finish was uneven. Whoever had restored it hadn't respected the grain. "I believe in measurements," I said. She blinked. "Right, because you play with wood." "I'm a master carpenter," I corrected. "Calm, quiet. Structural restoration, historic work." "Cute." She waved a hand like 10 years of apprenticeship was a hobby. "Anyway, Gary called me last night," and my jaw tightened. I didn't date much, not because I couldn't, because most conversations felt like sitting in a room where someone had removed all the screws holding the ceiling up. I checked my watch. 7 minutes. Across the patio, through the glass wall, I could see the inside bar. Warm light, busy hands, a place with purpose. I wanted purpose, not karma. Tiffany leaned in, perfumes swinging toward me, sweet and heavy. "You're so intense. Are you mad?" "No, I'm calculating how fast I can leave without being rude." She laughed like she thought I was flirting. Then a voice cut through my private countdown. "Daxton?" Warm, low, familiar in the way a safe tool feels familiar, even if you can't remember where you got it. I turned. The woman at the next table had her palm raised in a casual wave. She was sitting alone, angled toward me, not looking past me, looking at my face like she'd decided I existed. Dark hair, glossy in the sun, a fitted cobalt blue top that matched the sky like she dressed for confidence instead of approval. There was a white cappuccino cup on a saucer in front of her, foam untouched. Her smile was bright, but her eyes carried a watchful edge like she'd learned to smile without loosening her grip on the day. A gold band flashed on her ring finger, not a wedding ring, simple, clean. She nodded toward the empty chair across from her table. The middle table between us held an iced latte with a straw and another vase of pink flowers, abandoned like someone had been interrupted mid-order. "If you're free," she said, voice carrying just enough to sound normal, "sit here. We're late." Tiffany's head snapped toward her. "Excuse me? Who?" I stood up, decision clean as a chisel strike. "Right," I said, already reaching for my wallet. "The meeting." Tiffany's mouth opened, then closed. Her eyes darted between me and the woman in blue, searching for leverage. I dropped a 20 under the edge of Tiffany's untouched drink and kept my tone neutral. "Good luck with Gary." I didn't wait for permission. I crossed the short distance, stepping around the middle table with the iced latte, and sat opposite the woman in blue. Up close, her eyes were sharp. Not cruel, just awake. "Smooth," she murmured. Wasn't, it was survival. The cappuccino she pushed toward me like a quiet truce. "Elizabeth Hall, owner of this place, and you look like you were one sentence away from faking a medical emergency." "I considered chewing my own arm off," I admitted. Elizabeth's smile flickered into something real. "You carpenters are dramatic. Only when the structure is failing." Her gaze slid to the patio boards under our feet. "Funny you say that." I followed her eyes. The patio deck dipped almost imperceptibly near the north railing, the kind of dip most people ignored until it became a headline. "You feel it too," I said. "I feel it every time someone drags a chair," she replied, like the floor is holding its breath. I set my hands flat on the table, letting the vibrations tell the truth. The refrigerator compressor inside the espresso machine cycling, the low groan of a joist under load. "Your deck ledger board is pulling away," And your front door jamb is out of square. That's why it sticks when humidity rises." Elizabeth's smile held, but her shoulders lowered a fraction, like hearing the sentence said out loud made it heavier. "How expensive is that sentence?" she asked. "Expensive enoughly you've been avoiding saying it out loud," I said. She breathed out. "I bought the Hearth Mill 6 months ago. The realtor said historic charm. The bank said short leash." A small stack of envelopes peeked from beneath the register inside the window. "Final notice," stamped in red. "Why are you doing this?" I asked, nodding to the wave that had rescued me. Elizabeth looked past the glass, tracking her staff inside. "Because you looked trapped, and because this place is one bad day away from shutting its doors." "And who's pushing?" I asked. Her eyes sharpened. "Inspector Vance." The name landed like a hammer on a thumb. A bell chimed inside. Someone opened the front door. Elizabeth's staff moved fast, practiced. This place ran on her spine. Then the bell chimed again, harder, because the door was pushed like it belonged to a man who didn't ask. A tall man in a city vest walked onto the patio with a clipboard held at chest height like a shield. Vance. He didn't look at the menu boards. He didn't look at the flowers. He looked at the deck under his feet, then at Elizabeth like she was a line item. "Miss Hall," he called, voice nasal and sharp. "We received a complaint. Sagging deck on the north side. Public safety hazard." Elizabeth stood, posture straight, chin up. "Mr. Vance," she said, tone professional, "I was scheduled for Tuesday." "I'm here now," Vance replied, flipping a page. "If I determine immediate risk, I red tag immediate closure until rectified." The patio went quiet in that way crowds do when they smell trouble. Vance stepped toward the north railing and bounced once on his heels. The boards answered with a low, unhappy groan. Elizabeth's fingers tightened around the back of her chair. She didn't look at me. She looked at Vance, steady and hard, like she'd learned how to take a punch without giving him the satisfaction. I stood and walked to the edge of the patio, stopping beside Vance, not in his space, but in his path. "Inspector," I said. Vance glanced at me, then squinted. "Sanchez, Daxton Sanchez," I confirmed. His mouth twisted. "You don't do emergency patch jobs. You do museums and rich people's libraries." "I do whatever keeps buildings from hurting people," I said, calm. "This isn't a collapse. It's ledger separation and rot, likely localized." Vance's pen paused. "And you know this how?" I reached into my wallet and pulled out my contractor license card. I held it steady long enough for him to read the number. Vance's eyes flicked over the card, then up at me. "You offering to sign your name to this circus?" "I'm offering to stabilize it," I said. "You can write temporary stabilization by licensed contractor. Emergency stabilization is permitted under Municipal Code Section 112.4, subsection C, with permit filed within 24 hours. Elizabeth's head turned sharply, surprised, then a small shift in her gaze like she just met the kind of man who doesn't talk big, he just measures, cuts, and makes it hold. Vance's eyes narrowed. "You carrying the bracing with you?" "Give me 5 minutes," I said. I walked to my truck, grabbed 2 adjustable support posts and ratchet straps I kept for transport, and returned without running. I set the posts under the soft spot near the ledger, snugged them to take load, and ran a strap around the rail to limit bounce. Not a fix, a visible barrier. Proof. "I'll file the emergency permit tonight," I said loud enough for his clipboard to hear. "Full repair begins at dawn." Vance clicked his tongue. "You have 48 hours to submit drawings and a plan. If your plan is sloppy, I red tag anyway." "That's fair," I said. Vance looked at Elizabeth last, letting the silence press on her. "Tuesday," he said, 9 a.m. "Don't make me waste my morning." He left the patio. Elizabeth turned to me, eyes wide. "You just did that." "I did a temporary stabilization," I corrected, and quoted code. "I read," I said.
She stared at my hands, rough, scarred, steady, then looked up. "I can't afford you." I glanced toward the window where final notice envelopes waited. "We can talk numbers after we make sure nobody ends up on the pavement." Her throat worked. She nodded once, sharp. "Okay." "Good," I said. "First step is you stop letting anyone bounce on your deck like it's a test." A small breathy laugh escaped her. "Deal." At 5:45 the next morning, my truck rolled up to the alley behind the hearth and mill. I was never late. Elizabeth was already outside wearing oversized coveralls and a beanie that swallowed her hair. She had a clipboard of her own and a broom in her hands. "You're early," she called. "I'm on time," I said. I unloaded levels, an impact driver, a moisture meter, and 2 jacks. Elizabeth approached, eyes flicking over the equipment, then back at me. "You really do this for a living." "I do," I said, "and we need to talk money before we talk lumber." Her jaw lifted. "I pay retail materials, half labor now, half after we pass." I studied her. "Done." Relief showed for half a second, then she covered it with sarcasm. "You're holding the flashlight then." "Deal," I said, and crawled under the deck. It was worse than I'd told Vance. The ledger board had pulled away from the building by almost an inch. Water intrusion, soft, punky wood where it should have been solid. "How bad?" Elizabeth called from above. "Bad," I answered, "but fixable." "That's your version of comforting?" "It's my version of honest." Halfway down, my moisture meter beeped near the corner by the kitchen vent. This wasn't only rain, something was feeding the rot. I crawled out, dust on my shoulders, and looked up at the wall where a downspout met the siding. "Your downspout is dumping straight into the ledger." Elizabeth blinked. "The gutter guy said it was fine." "The gutter guy lied," I said. Her lips parted, then she shook her head. "Of course he did." I replaced the ledger bolts with galvanized through bolts, added flashing where there had been none, and installed new rim support with hardware rated for shear loads. Elizabeth held the flashlight without complaint, even when her fingers went numb. By noon, the deck was braced properly, temporary posts replaced with real ones. Not pretty, strong. We took a break at the middle patio table. Elizabeth poured me black coffee without asking how I took it. The scent was sharp and bitter, cutting through sawdust and sun-warmed cedar. "I remembered," I said. She shrugged. "You're not the type to hide bean quality under sugar." I drank, bitter, clean. Inside, the lunch rush began. Elizabeth stood. "Stay here," she said, then paused and added, "If you can, I'll bring you a sandwich on the house." My brows lifted. She rolled her eyes. "You're literally keeping my floor from folding."
Monday came like a countdown timer. Inspector Vance would be back Tuesday at 9. Elizabeth reached under the counter and pulled a spare key from a hook behind the register. She held it out, not flinching, not rushing. "For emergencies," she said, "if you need access after hours." I didn't grab it. I let it hang there for a second. Her eyes met mine. She tipped her chin one small firm. I took the key slow and turned it in my palm, like I was weighing more than metal. "I won't use it unless I call you first," I said. "Good," she replied. "I don't want surprises in my own building." Neither did I. That night, I walked the interior with my moisture meter and a flashlight. The main beam above the entrance didn't feel right. The moisture meter screamed near the drywall seam. The drywall was soft enough to dent with my thumb. I cut a clean inspection square and set it down gently. Inside, the cavity rot had eaten into the support beam like acid. I took photos on my phone with a tape measure in frame and texted one to Elizabeth. She arrived in 5 minutes, hair still in a messy clip, blue sweater pulled over her shoulders. She looked at the open wall, then at me. "What is it?" she asked. "Main support beam is compromised," I said. "Water intrusion has been happening for years. The load is transferring to the wrong studs. It's holding now because the building's been lucky." "We can fix it?" she asked. Her voice stayed level. Her hands didn't. "We can," I said, "but not before Tuesday without help and materials." A courier brought an envelope. Elizabeth signed, opened it, read. Color drained from her face. "It's my insurance," she whispered. "Cancellation effective immediately." I read it once, then twice. "Vance," Elizabeth said, voice flat. "Maybe, or someone who benefits from you being uninsured." "I can't pay for beam replacement," she said. "I can't even get a permit without insurance." "And you can't just leave," I said, "because the lease is personally guaranteed and they'll come after you." Elizabeth nodded once, stiff. "They take my paycheck for years. They take my apartment." I set the letter down on the counter, squared it like it was a board that needed to sit flush. "Okay," I said, "then we work the problem from the front. Paper dates, inspections, and a repair plan that holds up when someone tries to kick it." Her eyes snapped to mine. "Tell me what you need." "A quiet table," I said, "and access to your files." She didn't hesitate. "Take whatever you need." The next day, I moved like it was 2 jobs. I ordered an LVL beam and steel plates with rush delivery. Then I pulled public records. Quick, clean facts that made men like Vance keep their words tight. A single LLC filing tied North Rail Holdings to Vance's brother-in-law, enough to raise questions, enough to keep him from playing loose. When Tuesday hit, Vance walked in like he'd already chosen the ending. Elizabeth met him at the counter with a binder of photos, receipts, moisture readings, and a scheduled structural engineer appointment. Vance tried to talk her into closing voluntarily. Elizabeth didn't flinch. "Put it in writing," she said. "Cite the code, give me the compliance path." Vance's jaw tightened. I set the printed assessor record on the counter. "And disclose your family connection to the prior buyer attempt," I said evenly. "Or I file this with your supervisor." For a beat, Vance looked trapped inside his own clipboard. Then he turned back to the inspection, checking bracing and levels like he could punish the wood for not failing. Finally, he shoved a form toward Elizabeth. 30 days conditional, engineer report on file, progress visible. Elizabeth took it without smiling. "Thank you for putting it in writing." Vance left fast, angry and empty-handed. When the bell stopped ringing, Elizabeth stepped close, voice low. "I don't want to keep calling you my contractor," she said. I held still, letting her set the distance. "Then don't." Her hand settled at my wrist, warm, steady. "Is this okay?" "Yes." She kissed me, quite certain, and I met her halfway, my hand firm at her waist. Her breath hitched once against my mouth, then steadied. The tension in her shoulders uncoiled by degrees, like a bolt finally turning. When we separated, her eyes were clearer than they'd been in weeks. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay," I echoed. The engineer arrived Thursday. She was blunt, efficient, and unimpressed by romance. She crawled the crawl space, inspected the beam pocket, and wrote a report with the kind of language the city couldn't ignore. Vance didn't come back alone after that. He brought his supervisor. And when the supervisor saw the engineering report, the documented timeline, and the public records Elizabeth had printed and bound in a neat packet, the supervisor's eyes narrowed at Vance, not at Elizabeth. The city gave Elizabeth a formal compliance plan and a 60-day timeline, not a favor, procedure. Vance didn't apologize. Men like him rarely did, but he stopped hovering. It didn't mean the danger vanished. A few days later, during the morning rush, a delivery driver tried to cut across the patio with a hand truck. He hit the soft spot near the rail, and the boards flexed with a sharp, ugly creak. Elizabeth froze. I was already moving. I caught the hand truck by the frame, set it down, and stepped between the man and the railing. "Not today," I said, voice level. Then I screwed a temporary safety cleat across the access path, ran caution tape along the edge, and posted a plain sign, "Staff only." Elizabeth's shoulders lowered, as if she'd been carrying that creak in her ribs. The beam replacement happened on a Saturday night after closing because Elizabeth refused to shut down during business hours unless she had to. She stood beside me in her coveralls, hair clipped back, blue sweater underneath, holding the flashlight like she owned the darkness. "You sure?" she asked as I positioned the hydraulic jacks. "About the load path?" I said. "Yes. About us," she added, softer. I paused, fingers on the jack handle. I turned toward her fully. I didn't dodge. I didn't soften it into poetry. "I don't do sloppy work," I said. "Not on a beam. Not on anything that has to hold." Elizabeth swallowed and nodded once. "Good." When the jacks hissed and the beam lifted, the building groaned like it was finally allowed to complain. My muscles burned. At 2 a.m., when the new LVL beam slid into place and the steel plates bolted tight, the building's groan softened into silence. "It's in," I said. Elizabeth stared at the beam like it was a sunrise. She reached up, cupped my jaw with her palm, slow, deliberate, and looked me in the eyes. "Is this okay?" she whispered. "Yes," I said. Then she kissed me like she'd been holding her breath for months. I kissed her back, hand firm at her waist. Her fingers tightened on my shoulder, nails pressing through my shirt. Her heartbeat was fast where her palm met my jaw. Heat, coffee, sawdust, and the clean metallic tang of fresh hardware. When we broke apart, she stayed close, breathing against my mouth. "Thank you," she breathed. "I didn't do it alone," I said. "You held the flashlight." She laughed, soft and shaky. "I did." 2 weeks later, on a bright afternoon that looked exactly like the day she'd waved at me, the patio filled again. Round wooden tables, pink flowers and tiny vases, a cappuccino on a saucer, an iced latte with a straw on the middle table because a regular always ordered it too early and never drank it fast enough. I sat at my old table on purpose, wearing a plain gray t-shirt, arms folded, watching the world like it might try something. Elizabeth sat at the next table in her cobalt blue top, hair down, sunlight warming her shoulders. She raised her hand and waved just like the first time. "Daxton," she called, loud enough to be heard, soft enough to be meant only for me. "If you're free, sit here." I stood and walked over. Before I sat, I took out a small object and placed it on the table. A new hinge, brass, solid. Elizabeth blinked. "What's that for?" "Table 4, I said. "It still wobbles. It bothers me." She laughed, eyes shining. "You're impossible." "I'm consistent," I corrected. She reached across and took my hand. Her fingers threaded through mine and stayed there, skin warm, grip sure. "You kept this place from getting shut down," she said quietly. "You got me through Vance. You got me time." "I replaced rot and wrote a plan," I said. Elizabeth's thumb brushed once over my knuckle, like she was counting that sentence and deciding it didn't matter. "Still," she said, "I can breathe when I unlock the door now." I squeezed her hand once, controlled, promising without noise. "And you," I said, "made me stop treating every room like something I needed to escape." Elizabeth's smile softened into something that didn't need performance. "I'm free," I said. "I'll sit here." And for the first time in a long time, the structure of my life didn't feel like a temporary brace. It felt like it would.